As the Second World War came to an end, the Japanese Imperial Army is growing weaker and weaker, completely overwhelmed by the American forces. Defeat seemed inevitable for Japan. However, Second Lieutenant Hiroo Onoda was given an order to slow the United States' progress as much as possible, to fight at all costs, and to never surrender. Essentially a suicide mission. Soon, the Americans arrived, and within days, the Americans overwhelmed the weakened Japanese that had soon either get killed or surrendered. But not Onoda and his men. Half a year later, the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the deadliest war in history came to an end. Japan surrendered, but not Onoda. He stayed hidden in the jungle, not knowing that the war was over. Scavenging, pillaging, and stealing from local farmers, Onoda managed to survive like this for years. Soon, there were leaflets that's been dropped in the air to send a message in the forest that the war was over. Come out already. You lost. Onoda, still resistant, never surrendered hidden in the forests. Onoda's story became an urban legend in Japan, and a hippie boy took the mission to find and save Onoda. Onoda then was brought back home, where he faced his true demise. The empire that he had fought for had completely changed after 30 years. It wasn't the same Japan anymore, merely a shadow of itself. All of his sufferings were actually for his own delusion. Onoda then would die in Brazil with his image of his country that he had loved so dearly. I've been reading this chapter of the book called The Sorrow of Not Giving a Fuck, and this story of Hiroo Onoda is one of the craziest things that I have ever read in my entire book reading journey. You know, when you are trying to be something that is not, and you have the passion, sometimes it's a delusion. It's throwing a harpoon on the moon. It's so high that you'll probably hurt yourself in the process, or you might kill yourself. In this case of Hiroo Onoda, he was defending a dead empire for, I mean, I don't know if it's 30 years. Hiroo Onoda was a lieutenant in the Japanese army. He never admitted defeat. He thought that his empire, the Japanese empire, was too great to be beaten by the Americans. And he is never surrendering. If you can relate that in the situations of many other young men in today's modern world, it's complete delusion. It's living in a way of life that is well off, comfortable, maybe a little bit of suffering. Suffering from video games, suffering from not holding back from social media. It's kind of amusing for me to see other men, other young men my age, who is indulging different kinds of social media. And I just want to reiterate that life in the 40s, 1940s, those probably are the heydays, the prime days of my grandfathers and grandmothers, my ancestors. I cannot face them and talk to them. Look at me and I. Can you really talk to your ancestors who fought wars, who created empires? And you can talk to them and comfortably say, I am June Albrecht, I am Catherine, I'm a nobody. I waste my time on TikTok. I watch cringe YouTubes like this, and I'm on self-improvement because I'm a douchebag. No, you cannot talk to them. You will never find respect in their eyes when you talk to them like that. They fought wars. What are you doing? You are on a psychological warfare without knowing it, and you are completely losing it. The nerds from social media, those programmers, those creative coders, they highly feed on your attention. Your attention is their money, and whenever they get your attention is where they get their money. That's it. Where you spend your time is the greatest weapon that will ever be used by you or against you. It's your time, it's your attention. Maybe you're indulging from self-help books right now. Maybe you're on social media, video games, porn, anything that's scraping your time away from you is the greatest possible thing. In simple, plain English, just spend your time for anything that will be valuable for you, that will grow exponentially. Reading books, starting a business like me, putting up works, making poems, journaling, everything. It's simple, waking up early, but it's the discipline. Let's go back to Hiroo Onoda. And he was fighting for the wrong thing. It was the end of the Second World War, and the Japanese have surrendered. But Hiroo Onoda is holding on to the orders that has been given to him by his higher ups. He firmly believes that the Japanese Empire will never lose. It's a commitment. It's great. It's loyalty. It's everything that is taught to him, and he's applying it. It's the way of the samurai. But if you can come to think of it, he's living in delusion. He's ignoring the realities of the world. When you're on social media, you're ignoring the realities of the world. If you spend your time, maybe 8 hours, 7 hours, maybe 4 hours or 3 hours in social media, you're probably a pussy. Maybe you're a nerd. Maybe you're a loser. And that's not an insult. That's reality. That's who you are. If social media is what fuels your mind, you are a feather in a storm. Anything that comes up in the social media that says there's 30% of men killing themselves, if you are put in a propaganda, if they say that there's another pandemic that's coming, you're gonna do anything about it and just obey it without realizing the realities of the world. You're probably a pussy if you indulge in social media right now. YouTube is still a great thing. That's why I'm delivering this message to you right now. It's YouTube. There are still great content on YouTube. Hamza delivers great content. It's for self-improvement. It's for the companionship, the leadership, the brotherhood. Although he's good, he's great. Hamza is great. He also affected me. He also inspired me. And he also is a great teacher. Sneeko. Although the two had a beef, they're okay right now. And they're two very, very inspiring person. Sneeko is on a mission right now. I want to deliver the same message that he delivers. I'm ambitious as fuck. I said it to you. I'm ambitious. I'm a man of ambition. Sneeko is too. He's been on YouTube for years and he is gathering the bag right now. He discovered the tactic that will get him on the top of this YouTube thing. He wants to be everywhere. And that's the spirit. That's the mentality of an entrepreneur. Whilst being an entrepreneur, he delivers a message that all of men are equal, that there are certain realities in the world that is going nowhere right now, that is being disregarded. He's being attacked for telling the truth, but he's not flinching. He's not even affected. It's the boost for him. When you talk about him, talk to him in the internet, it's a boost for him. It's marketing. Andrew Tate, maybe he's polarizing, but some of the things that he says are actually on point. They are very, very informative and they are realistic. Although I disagree on some of them, also it's marketing, just like what Sneeko is doing. It's all marketing, it's all business. But the message is clear and realistic. You have to listen to it. Have an open mind. Disagreeing is not a sin. I laugh on people who think that disagreeing is punishing someone. is creating a fight. No, disagreeing is a healthy conversation. When I talk someday, I want to talk eye to eye to Sneeko, to Hamza, to Andrew Tate, to anyone that has a similar message in me. I want to talk them in the eye. Maybe disagree on some things, but still have a healthy conversation. That's what a meaningful conversation is. Agreeing and disagreeing on something while having an open mind. Seeing the spectrum of something from right to left, knowing what's in them, where they're coming from. That's a healthy conversation. We've come far to the YouTubers that I've been watching, but you get the message that Hiroo Onoda lived in a delusion. He lived in a delusion, just like many men are. That's what I'm trying to say here. And there are few YouTubers, few ones who are maybe polarizing. Maybe they've gathered a large clout. Maybe they're in a cult, just like Hamza. But it's the thousands, the millions of young men just like me who are lost, who are living in complete delusion, saying that their life is long, there'll always be another day. Shut up. Shut up. There will never be another day. And I just want to reiterate that I'm not a self-improvement guy. Maybe I'm trying to do this to boost yourself, but don't idolize me. Make me a role model. I'm ambitious. I'm hardworking. I'm determined. But focus on yourself. It's you who should be idolized by yourself only. Going back to Hiroo Onoda, he returned to Japan. He returned to Japan for maybe after 30 years of scavenging in the forest in the jungle of the Philippines. And what he has seen is reality. When he fought for the war, he's fighting for the Japan, the traditional Japan that values everything, values tradition, culture, men and women equally, value their history, their pride, everything. But it's not the same Japan that he's seen when he came back. Japan has become a shadow of itself, a more progressive one, but has nothing to offer for its culture now. It's not the same empire, it's not the same tiger that it has known. Many young men are very delusional, and when they come to a point in their lives, maybe when they're at a point of maturity, when they're 26, 25 years old, when they realize that the sun is setting for them, the youthful times, when they realize that the youthful years of their lives was wasted for a wrong motive, for wrong direction, for wrong inspiration, for wrong goal, they'll be depressed. They'll be coming on YouTube and saying, I'm 24 and I've wasted my 20s. Shut up. Shut up. If you wasted your life, gather your confidence. Muster up your courage. Act on it. Don't boast like it's an achievement thing. You've wasted your life and you go to YouTube and gathering sympathy for others that are similar to you. Losers. Look on the positive side. You didn't waste your 20s. Maybe it's an experience, but you still have time. Value your time. The greatest men in history have valued time more than anything else. Elon Musk, the richest man in the planet right now, values his time more than anything else. Take all his company, all his employees, all the things that have built. Give him time. Give him more time. And he will gladly accept it with an open heart. Because time is your greatest asset. Remember that. That's all for today. Be ambitious.